Lisbon Film Festival, first time in Lisbon, and this film is just, I had seen it like 20 years ago, and I was loved it. But I wanted to see it again tonight because we met Cronenberg, who's a big friend of this festival, as you know, quite a few times. And every time I met him, we talked about Miranda, and I said to him, David, Spider is just such a great film, and we want to see it again, and it should be seen at the festival. And he always said how much he loves this film and how much he loved working with Miranda. So my first question is, how did you actually come to meet David Cronenberg and to come to his part, and how did that whole sequence happen?
I think it was through Catherine Bailey, the producer, and she knew of the book that Patrick McGrath had written. And you probably don't know this, but the character of the man who runs the asylum where Spider comes from and goes back to is absolutely based on Pat, because he did run a mental home. So it's very much it's lots of things, but it's very much from a sympathetic point of view and understanding. I mean, that's a rather wonderful character, I think, in the film. You know, he's seen it all, and he's there to help. I mean, terrible circumstances. So she approached me, and bless her. And it actually went away for a while because I was going to do another piece of work, and I believe that they couldn't get all the funding, something like that. And it was going on and on and on, and I had to go away and do some work, actually make a living for a bit. And I was very afraid that was it. And then it came back, and I was very thrilled to be able to have the opportunity. So, you know, it was somehow meant to be.
But was there a moment that you had to meet up with David Cronenberg and meet and see how you felt, how he felt? Was there a moment like that?
You're going to be horrified because I don't remember anything like that. I don't remember those sort of conversations, those sort of meetings. Don't ask me. I mean, things just kind of happen. And I must have met him, but I don't remember meeting him until, you know, we're doing it. Yeah, kind of.
Well, that's amazing. That's amazing.
It is amazing. I mean, you know, I worry about my brain most of the times, but you'd think that there would be a setup and all that kind of thing, but the most tricky bit was when it went away, you know, because I recognized it was really interesting, and to be able to play different aspects of, you know, the female for one, and of Spider's imaginings, was a lovely opportunity, delicious opportunity, you know.
Well, actually, watching it, it's the first thing that the minute you realize these different facets of the part, different women that you're playing, it's so kind of, how do you prepare for a role in which you're playing so many? Do you sort of, I don't know, because one role is one thing, but now there's all these different aspects and characters.
Well, I mean, I do remember watching Lee play Mrs. Wilkinson. I snuck in and watched some of that, so I was picking up on some of her demeanour, I suppose, and her traits. She has a wonderful sort of vocal husk going on, and she's very juicy, you know, that character, horrible. And then I suppose as we went on, I wanted to make that become an amalgam of Yvonne Petard and her, you know, so the only one who's innocent and pure, if you like, is Mum, you know, and she can do no wrong, but then she does wrong, you know, she becomes a slag in his eyes. Yeah, so it's nobody's fault, but terrible things happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, did you not have one?
I haven't got one.
Don't do weird things. Don't you just see a film where people do weird things?
I'm going to make a web out of it. So, when you were shooting the movie, presumably it was, nothing was done in sequence, and you would, from one day to the next, be Innocent Mom, next day Tart. Was that?
Broadly speaking, I think, well, that's part of the fun of it, you know?
Yeah.
It was just like, what do I get to do today?
Did you know ahead of time? Put this on, and then you were.
Well, that had huge fun sorting out the looks and the costume.
Yeah.
And I have to say, it's one of the best teams I've ever worked with, and David works with, as far as he can, the same team a lot, and some of it is family, you know, Denise, his sister, always does costume.
Because you said at the beginning of the evening that when you introduced the film, what a wonderful experience it would be to make this.
Yeah.
And I was wondering what were the elements that made it wonderful.
So good. Well, first and foremost, I think I found out very quickly on set how relaxed David was. I mean, he was preternaturally relaxed. But that came out of knowing and trusting the casting, certainly, but absolutely his team, the people that he knew and trusted. I mean, it's a crack team. You know, actually, our production designer is now in my book. Yeah, it's a lovely circular thing. Yes, Andrew. Yeah, Andrew Summers. Still got a hell of an eye for everything.
And was the script was.
Good. I'm making challenge.
No, it's the show. The script was, you stuck to the script with their improvisation in it at times, so it feels so free.
Yeah. I'm so glad you felt that, because I realised when I was watching it this time that is what I had a sense of the time in the scenes with Gabe, you know, as the star. Yes, and walking through the streets. I mean, you were making up sound. All that. And I remember asking a great girlfriend of mine who was born in the East End for the kind of voice. So the stuff of Yvonne in the pub, when you sort of come in and out of hearing what she's talking about, you don't understand all that. But I said, give me some good old East End phrases, and, you know, which have double meaning and things like that. And what I remember she said is, if you've got the stomach for this, she said, if you say I've got the decorators in, and you're a woman, it means you're on your period. And so I remember throwing that one in, because I thought that would be suitably disgusting for anybody who might pick up on it, you know. And it was sort of stuff, of course, it was the opposite of anything that the mum would say. She's just out there, and she's on show. Yeah, so I remember that.
Because there's a whole thing in English end of the pier humour, we call it, where, for example, if you talk about plumbing, it has all sorts of double meanings. Yes, so I'm afraid we're terrible suckers for all of that.
No, one thing that I want to say before I pass it to the British is that the accents I thought were absolutely amazing. Because I thought, what
What would you do?
we're very good friends, you can see that, can't you? No, because I felt.
I don't like, I was sitting on it.
Very true.
So, No, I felt that they were they were working class accents, but the mother's accent to me was a softer, it was very subtle the way it was working class. And then when it went into the slag, it was so kind of brilliantly so strong, very strong. And then when you went back to the other role, the older role later on, again it was different.
Yeah.
So I thought that, was that hard? Or was it just natural? Did you just do it?
I just enjoyed myself. I had a fantastic time just inhabiting them. And as I say, I had the pleasure of watching Lynn Redgrave bring Mrs. Wilkinson to kind of adjust what was going on. And it's quite theatrical, though. I mean, that's also great fun, you know? You're just pushing the tone of it.
She knew you were going to steal her part halfway through.
She stole her part, yeah. No, but having watched the Crying Game, you did the Scottish accent in that, which was
Irish.
Irish.
Less.
I mean,
Less.
no, I didn't know that.
Yes.
So is accent something that comes naturally?
I love the challenge of that. I love getting into that and the discipline of working on that very much. And with anything, you've got to try and feel that it's embedded. It's not just superficial. So whatever time that takes, I guess.
I've also heard you do French accent in Phantom of the Opera. So I've heard you do so many accents. So it's kind of fascinating to me.
She probably was French. I don't know. Her name might be was she French?
Well, she was a mistress. Anyway, back to the spider. Yes. One other thing, does David Cronenberg do a rehearsal period? Or it's very little, you go straight into...
Pretty much. I mean, as I say, he's kind of got the team down, and you just come on the floor and you do it. Point of interest, in our shooting, we shot about half of it in the UK, and we shot the other half in Toronto, which is David's home, and he doesn't really like to leave home that much. I think probably Lisbon's an exception if he's zero. I don't know, but
he likes his festival a lot.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
he does.
Probably when we were in the middle of shooting, 9/11 happened, and it was a shooting day, and we came into work, and Gabriel, who's never late, wasn't on set, and eventually, very mildly, I remember David saying, "Has anyone seen Gabriel this morning?" And then somebody said, "Oh, I think he's in the office." And he was watching the TV screens in there, and we eventually went in there to see the appalling things that were on the television, and it was an extraordinary thing. And then I suppose after about 20 minutes, maybe, David said, "Well, I guess we carry on, and we're making a film, and I guess the best thing we can do is carry on making a movie." And that's what we did. But it was the weirdest thing, you know. Yeah.
So I had no idea that you shot any of it. From looking at it, it all feels totally authentically, London, gasworks. So what were the parts that you did over there? Were they in the house or that sort of film?
Yes, I think we had the set of the house in Canada, and then the allotments and some of the actual pubs and the street. They were in the UK.
Right,
Sort of
yeah.
cobbled streets,
Yes.
etc. I don't know what the original name of the dog and beggar was, but it was a real fun.
I was convinced it was London. It was so, it was so...
That was London. Oh, which did you ask me?
Yeah.
That was London. Oh, okay.
Yeah. David Cronenberg said to me, he loves this film, and we all remembered that how well received it was. And when it came out, it was premiered at Cannes at some point, I remember, and it had very good reviews, and everybody loved it. And yet, one feels that it doesn't get enough outings.
It's not cheery, what is it?
Do you think that's? Do you think?
I think decision. I don't.
No, because it's such a strong movie.
But I think it pays multiple viewings. I mean, even though you understand the threads, if you like, by the end, you see different things each time. I mean, I saw it fairly recently, not on such a wonderful print as this. My God, I saw it on board ship in March. On my way to New York, and tonight I found it absolutely absorbing, So
you do get sort of dragged in, sucked into the web of it all, and truly, I mean, I found myself thinking at certain points, it's real, it's imagine what's going on, where are we? You get completely thrown at times, and then just when you begin to get really confused, then you throw to a bone and suddenly things are clarified. Particularly, I think in that scene with Scorpion in the bed, when he's about to hit her over the head with a hammer, and when you do finally see Lynn Redgrave back in bed, then you're kind of okay. It was all in his head. That's very clear.
I mean, some of it is.
Well, what I wanted to say also was what you bring in your performance is an incredible amount of wit and humour, and so in something that could otherwise be just relentlessly dark and heavy, I find your performance has a massive amount of kind of semi-buried comedy. I mean, it's just always you've got an eye to and an ear to giving it an edge that makes it, for me anyway, kind of edgy and amusing. Thank you.
No, it's true that the minute you think it's real, you know that it's real, and you're convinced by what's going on. Something comes in your way that you think, oh, did I get that wrong? And then before you think this was wrong, and something else takes you back into feeling secure about it. I mean, it's very interesting as a public what it makes you do. Because it constantly is what you're trying to say. I really felt that.
I think the wonderful performance from John Lovell as well. Absolutely, it was beautiful what his work was. So he's the guy who, when Simon first arrives at the kind of halfway house, it says, "Oh, I had you down for an African man." I love that, invading into conversation and understanding something of what he's going through. There's that, but understanding something of what Spider's going through, And the Gasworks is a sort of extraordinary mother figure, kind of, and with that sort of incredible sound underneath it. It's quite sort of Lynchian, really. I just love that.
And just one other thing before we pass it on to your questions. Patrick McGrath that wrote the book, the novel, I met him actually, and it's amazing to have the person that wrote the book also write the script. Did he write the script? Because I saw that on the screen. So he was very much, he was there, and so that must have been also, because often the writer of the novel and the script can sometimes not be on the same level. And here I felt that must have been a great luxury to have both of them.
Yes, not that he was asked. It was lovely to have him there because he's just a lovely presence,
Yes.
and cracking dancer as well. I tell you, it was some sort of catharsis, I think, this whole thing, because at the ownership party, he was absolutely drenched in sweat and never stopped dancing. I thought it was great. Yes, it was so sweet. It was very nice to have the idea of him. There wasn't much need to change or developing things. It's kind of there too. Yeah.
Great. So, does anybody want to ask Miranda some questions?
Don't have to.
Don't be shy. Anybody for a question?
Yeah, so did you literally, thanks. Did you literally go from day to day, go from one character to another? You didn't shoot like all of the mother and then all of the other one?
No.
You literally jumping from day to day?
Yeah, I mean, we might have, if we were in the house set, then we might have had a run of a couple or 3 days doing mum and dad
Yeah.
scenes. But then we also have slag and dad
Yeah.
scenes in that same set. Hard to remember exactly what, but yeah, it makes you think about always the time, money thing. But you know, as I say, what can I tell you? It was relaxed and great, and it wasn't a problem.
Yeah. They're both such kind of complete characters that it's like really, really total that you kind of think, oh my god, I must have just been inhabiting that one for ages and then that one for ages. But I guess it's a kind
I'm
of...
very shallow. I'm very shallow.
Very versatile.
Yeah, but this is part of the kind of heightened dramatic quality of it, of the playing, which at the same time is completely real, but it also has a kind of quality of Pinter and all of that kind of tradition and you know, yeah, a kind of a weird British Lynchian quality, which is really, really strange. Yeah.
And of course, David loves horror. You know, there's that element to it as well.
Definitely, it's that very subtly and very intriguing. You're intrigued the whole time, and the swap of these characters completely gets me. You know, it's. Any questions? Yeah. Yes. Hands up.
I have one more thing to say as well, which it must have been quite odd to shoot so many of those scenes in the house, for example, around the family kitchen table, with Ray standing in the corner. You know, like he was just there as a presence, sort of leapt through the window, and you obviously had to completely take notice of him.
Well, again, it was kind of comforting. You know, he was sort of Ed Nosbury, and I don't know how much fun. He probably did have fun on it, Ray, but you wouldn't think he did. You know, because he's so into what, into what he's doing. I remember asking him if I could see his notebook, and I thought he might really go, you know. And he went, yeah, sure. I loved that he was so open about it. There was these beautiful scribbles, and it was really, you know, owing something to him.
Yes,
Yeah.
Last chance for our last question. Yes, there we go. I knew it.
Hello.
Hi.
I'd like to congratulate you on your beautiful performance. Not just only one, maybe 3 performances. I'd like to ask how was it when you were trying to convey this line between affectionate mother and more of a Freudian love when regarding the mother, because it was very difficult, or it seemed very difficult and executed in perfection in the movie, that there was a nuance when you were doing the mother, and the spider was looking at it more from a perspective of the Freudian perspective of love towards the mother. So, and you see that represented in your 3 characters.
Yeah.
So I would like to know, like, how was it something that you could flow through very easily, or were there nuances in those specific moments, like the dress, like the revealing at the pub, and when she finds out the webbing he's an adult, and she sniffs him in a provocative way, you can say. How did you manage to convey all those emotions? Because it's very difficult to represent motherly love and this more subconscious Freudian love.
I think you just have to play each person in their reality, and they only know what they know. And actually the mother, in a way, knows the least. She loves him. She doesn't always understand him, but she's a loving mother. And then the slag is, she has her way of being in the world. And so when I was being Yvonne, I was being that way in the world, and I, I think maybe what you could be talking about is when Yvonne becomes the mother in the household, so she actually takes on the clothing. She has absolutely supplanted the mum, and I found it quite amusing, in a way, that Yvonne is trying to be a mother, a normal mother at home. It's not the role that she finds easier sits well on her, but she's trying, but she doesn't really get it, and it's very unrewarding to be serving this ungrateful little boy. So, sort of playing that really. And really all she's waiting is for Dad to come home so that they can have more sex or something, It's, they're on their own tram lines in a way. Mrs. Wilkinson, well, she's a mystery. I'm sure she has a life outside the halfway house, but I don't really want to think about that.
That's excited too.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Yeah, there is one there.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh.
The mic is coming towards you.
Hello, good evening. Thank you for your lovely performance. It was amazing. It's the first time I saw the movie, and it's really striking. But something that really struck me from your character was the laughter. The laughter of Yvonne, especially because it's quite disturbing actually, and I was wondering, is your natural laughter? How did it come?
It can be. I think it's a bit manic sometimes. We're living in horrible times, so you've got to take what you can get rid of. I'll have a laugh if I can. But yeah, again, I had the opportunity to watch the actress who was playing Yvonne in the pub, which first traumatizes the boy. And I don't think it was as extreme as that, her laugh, but the trio of girls there were wild, Sarah Stockbridge is in the middle of that, she's Vivienne Westwood's stalwart model and very wild, wonderful characters. So they were having fun, and I just sort of cranked it up a bit, I just cranked the laugh up a bit. Deliberately provocative, show off, look at me, ready for action, really. So, yeah, I don't think it's quite as funny as that.
Yeah, but it's great because it's really striking, and it's not easy to fake a laughter or to pretend a laughter, so that was really impressed me.
Thanks.
Thank you. I think that's it's a wrap. Unless there is someone else who were trying to say something? No. night, everyone.
Good night. Thank
And
you.
thank you for